All right, this is Jonathan Smith, president of New York Metro Area Postal Union. I had to take off my hoodie for this one because I'm a little hot, but I'm going to try to stay calm. I want to talk to you briefly about the 10-year plan in Louis Dejoy. And I know that our national president, Mark Dimmenstein, likes to describe that plan as the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, I'm still looking for the good because all I see is the bad and the ugly. And that 10-year plan, the full effects of that 10-year plan, is starting to be realized now. And I am fighting as hard as I can to protect our work. But I'm telling you, we're in for a difficult ride. Now, this message right now is probably more specific to the employees that work at the NDC in Jersey City, New Jersey, the bulk mail facility. But the impact of this is going to spread. And what disturbs me, at the National Convention, the delegates passed a resolution overwhelmingly asking for the firing or the resignation of Louis Dejoy. And we asked for that resolution to be publicized. And I was disappointed because it was publicized on apw.org and that was it. And I felt as though that was in disrespect to the will of the delegates, who is the highest authority in APWU, that voted on a position on Louis Dejoy at our national convention to resign or to be fired. And I'm disappointed that our APW leadership, and I've just got to be honest, I don't sugarcoat things, felt to advertise it on apw.org was sufficient enough because our national president believes that it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, I'm here to say that it's only the bad and it's only the ugly. You are asking the members to believe that Louis Dejoy is not that bad because you're asking us to believe what we hear and ignore what we see. I have been complaining for well over a year now that this 10-year plan could ultimately be the destruction of APWU. And I know that our national leadership knows how to properly advertise an issue that they believe in. Because I can remember how they advertised the Stop Staples campaign when they were sending our work to Staples. That was everywhere. The U.S. mail is not for sale. And I can remember when we endorsed Bernie Sanders, Can You Feel the Burn? It was everywhere that we got to get Bernie Sanders in there for president. And I remember how we advertised postal banking, and it was everywhere to bring financial services to the post office, to eliminate the postal management's argument about funding of the postal service by bringing in income of banking services. Those campaigns didn't look nothing like the hidden will of the delegates that was posted on apw.org only and went no place else. And I wish that our national leadership will come down to these facilities and explain to these members the good part of the 10-year plan when there is no mail during peak season in our facilities. When management is going back to reversion of our jobs, saying that there is no mail, that the mail volume is drastically down. Please come to the facilities and tell me not to believe what I see. And it really boggled my mind because I said, all the unions, because we are supposed to have a postal alliance, all the unions were supposed to get together and fight in unison against Dejoy in his 10-year plan. But none of the national unions spoke up. And I said, why wouldn't they speak up? This is the worst thing, in my opinion, that has ever happened to the Postal Service and the biggest threat to our existence. And the carriers, I know why they wouldn't speak up. Because Louis Dejoy, in exchange for their silence, agreed to protect 6-day delivery and write it into the law. And they can see, because it's the protection of 6-day delivery, that their work is going to be fine. I couldn't understand why the mail handlers would go with it. I said, why would the mail handlers go with it? But now I understand why the mail handlers would go with it, because the new mail processing equipment and Dejoy's thinking is he only cares about parcel mail, and those parcel mail machines are mostly manned by the mail handler craft. But what I can't understand, and I still don't understand to this day, what was in it for APWU? APWU, mostly our concern is letters and flats, and they don't seem to be interested in any new equipment that comes in that really focuses on letters and flats. And our strength was to protect the delivery standards and go back to the delivery standards of 2012, where the Postal Service not only had to deliver the mail, but they had to deliver it efficiently and timely. That's written into the law. But instead, we sat back and we did not make a big stink about Dejoy wanting to raise the delivery standards 2 more days. Even then, the mail took more than a week to go from one side of town to the other side of town. But it's something that we said that we had to come back and get, that we wasn't going to get it in this new postal legislation. Why? The carriers got what they wanted. The mail handlers got what they wanted. What did APWU get? Shafted. And now we're sitting around and we're fighting for crumbs. And I'm going to be honest about it. I totally disagree with the approach that our APWU leadership has taken when it comes to Louis Dejoy. Louis Dejoy has changed everything around on the way that we're processing mail, and he has one craft fighting against another craft because we're fighting for our very survival, and our national leadership has been silent. You can hear crickets. And I am really disturbed when I called and I said, what's going on? They're pulling the machines out of here. They're shutting machines down. They're redirecting the mail. We got no mail in the facilities. And the answer I get, they're not telling us nothing either. So where is our fight? Where are we disturbed at the disrespect that Mr. Dejoy has shown us? That he's making all these changes and telling us absolutely nothing, and we all right with it. No labor board charges, no nothing, no lawsuits, no. And the thing about it is, I deal directly with the members. I directly see the impact. Maybe it's time to come up from that ivory tower and come down to the workroom floor and see what's going on and the fear and the panic that's going on because we're facing possible excessing of our employees outside our installations because we have no work. We have no mail. But most of all, we have no answers. And we have nobody backing up the position that we took in August that Louis Dejoy must go. And when I first started bringing this up, they said, well, we can't mess with Louis Dejoy right now because we're in contract negotiations. Then contract negotiations was finalized. Oh, we can't mess with Louis Dejoy because we need his help to pass postal reform legislation. And then postal reform legislation passed. And now we can't mess with Dejoy. Why? Why can't we mess with Dejoy right now? Why can't we fight against the 10-year plan? Why can't we fight against our mail being redirected to these STC centers? Why can't we fight our mail going to these mega distribution centers where they're sending function 4 stations into one station, 5 and 6? Soon you're going to see post offices be nothing more than a storefront where you have some window clerks and nothing else. No work, no distribution work in the back. And that's going to affect our maintenance staff, our custodian staff, because you don't need a custodian for a station that's not there to clean. And that's going to affect our motor vehicle staff because our motor vehicle staff is not going to deliver to these stations, these function 4 stations that they're delivering to now. They're going to be delivering to these distribution centers. And since they're all going to one place, you're not going to need as many drivers to go to this distribution center. And at the same time, the over-the-road work is still being contracted out by Mr. Dejoy because he loves logistics. That at some point, when stuff don't make sense, you got to call it out. How is he going to tell us and put all these commercials on TV that the delivery of the mail is going to be more efficient by taking the mail off of planes, but yet he's going to put it on the truck to go all the way from New York to California and make that more efficient? The only way he was able to do that is because we didn't challenge the delivery standards. And he gave himself 2 more days to do it. And he's getting filthy rich while he do it. And he got his old company, XBO Logistics, doing a lot of that contract work still. What's going on, people? And my thing is, I want to fight. I would feel better even if I go down, if I went down fighting. It's embarrassing going down, standing back, doing nothing, and waiting to die. And that's what's happening right now. I am moving grievances because there is some violations that I see that happen at the NDC in a way, but I'm here to be honest with you. What I'm doing is a Band-Aid and not a fix. My power is limited as a local president to stop this nonsense, because every time that I talk to one of these legislators about what's going on in the Postal Service, the first thing that they ask me is, what is the position of your national APWU? And I can say nothing. The position of the delegates was clear. Louis Dejoy must go. Louis Dejoy is a problem. Right now, we have 2 vacant seats that can make the difference in getting rid of Louis Dejoy on the Postal Board of Governors. And I haven't even heard anything about filling those 2 seats on the Postal Board of Governors with pro-postal service advocates. And if we have a postal alliance, why can't all the unions agree to one candidate? The carriers are so insulting that they want to leave Lee Moak on there. That's a Democrat and Democrat name only, and a major supporter of Louis Dejoy. That's a travesty. But at least the mail handlers are supporting somebody that's pro-post office, and Carolyn Maloney. But it's not the candidate I want, but I don't want to say the name of who I want right now because they will use that as a reason not to support that person and not to support that person. Stop asking me to believe what you say and not believe what I see. Because I'm going to these post offices every day, and the question that I'm asking myself is, where the hell is the mail? And when I'm asking my APWU leadership, where the hell is the fight? Where is your heart? Who are you with? What is your position? Where do we stand? Tell us something. Because the silence is a lack of leadership. Martin Luther King says, I'm not worried about the scorn of my enemies. I'm worried about the silence of my friends. Your silence is deafening, APWU. Your silence is killing them. And I cannot, in good confidence, go back and tell the people that I represent that they haven't told us nothing and we're not fighting to get the information. You tell them that. What happened to us? Have we given up? Is Mr. Dejoy that bad that we will go down without a fight? Let me tell you something. The biggest mistake is that we have let this 10-year plan get so far down the road, I don't even know if we can stop it. But not fighting is not an option. Not for me. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight to my last damn breath. And a lot of people are not going to be happy that I'm putting this message out because they're going to say that it's divisive. It doesn't help the morale of the memberships. The thing about it is, it's the truth. I'm not worried about playing politics. And that's the problem that has happened with our leadership. They have become politicians and not labor leaders. And they're going around and they're giving you the old political line, trying to worry about what everybody else thinks, instead of telling you the truth and say, we got to fight. I hear all the time that our leaders said, we're going to have to put some boots to the ground. Well, how the hell are we going to put some boots to the ground if you support Dejoy and you won't say a negative word about him or his 10-year plan? So my challenge is, please, there is a president's conference coming up for APWU in Washington, D.C. It's the Legislative Political Council. And even that's messed up because Capitol Hill is not in session at that time. But that's fine because it's a perfect time for our national president to go up to the podium at the National President's Conference and please explain to me what is good in the 10-year plan. What can I go back to my members with that they can feel encouraged about with everything that they seeing on going around them, with them pulling the machines out, with them cutting the overtime, with them getting rid of the PSEs? Please tell me, because I done missed it. Maybe I'm a little slow. Please tell me what is good about the 10-year plan. Because my position, Louis Dejoy, must go. He is killing us. And our leadership has either got to shit or get off the pot. Because fighting, I'm from the old school. I've been around a long time. Not fighting is not an option. Jonathan Smith, until the next time we get an opportunity to speak, I see you on the battlefield. God bless you.